I read every productivity book: Getting Things Done, Automatic Habits, Bird by Bird, The War of Art, Barbara Sher's Wishcraft, Ali Abdaal's Feel Good Productivity, Choose Your Story, Change Your Life. I have read them. I have loved them. I have highlighted them, dog-eared them, taken notes on them. And I could not do any of them, or at least they wouldn't stick for long. For years I thought there was something wrong with me. Everybody else seemed to be able to just sit down and do the work, and I couldn't. I kept buying more books, reading more blogs, writing about productivity, but none of it moved me. And today I finally know why. And I'm going to tell you, because I promise you, it is not what you think. And if you have a stack of productivity books on your nightstand that you loved and never implemented, this video is especially for you. Stay with me. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Yolanda, and this is Frog's Little Tale. Hit subscribe, because every week I share tools and honest conversations about healing your heart, so your gifts can finally come through. Here is what nobody in the productivity world wants to admit. Discipline is not the answer. I know every productivity book, every YouTube video, every morning routine challenge tells you the same thing. You just need more discipline. Show up, grind, do it even if you don't feel like it. And I tried that. I bought into hustle culture. It cost me my self-esteem. It made me feel like life is hard. It made me ask over and over, why is this so hard? Why can't I just do it? But here is what I finally discovered, and this is going to change the way you think about productivity forever. The problem was never discipline. The problem was that I was trying to do step 2 before I did step 1. I needed to heal first. I needed to feel my feelings about my work, about my business, about the things that inspired me. I needed to open up, and then, only then, could any of those beautiful systems and books and tools actually work. You feel your feelings, you heal your feelings, and then your heart is in action. Inspired action is the only way I believe in anymore. Not forced action, not white-knuckle discipline. Inspired action flowing naturally from a devoted heart. And I want to offer you 2 words I love far more than discipline: devotion and dedication. Discipline feels like a punishment, but devotion feels like love. And when you are devoted to something, truly, deeply devoted, you don't have to force yourself. You are called. You were never lazy. You were never undisciplined. You were just doing it out of order, and that ends today. Before we go further, if you want a place to start processing all of this, I created a free 30-day journaling guide called The Why. 30 prompts completely free, linked in the description below. Go grab it and come back. One of my favorite books in the world is Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. And what it gave me more than anything is permission. Permission to do it badly. Permission to make a mess. Permission to show up with a terrible first draft and call it enough. Lamott says your first draft is always awful, always a mess, something to be embarrassed about. And she says this is not the exception, this is the rule. This is how all creative work begins. And what this does when you really let it in is that it lets you practice self-acceptance. It lets you practice humor. It lets you practice humility. It lets you practice humanity. It lets you practice imperfection. And those are some of the most beautiful things a human being can be. Bird by Bird taught me that productivity is not about perfection. It is about devotion. It is about coming back. It is about the second draft, the third draft, the willingness to keep going. That is productivity. That is it in a nutshell. Give yourself the opportunity to do it badly. That one permission will heal more resistance than any productivity system ever could. If you've read The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, you know about resistance. That invisible force that rises up every time you try to do something that matters. The procrastination, the self-doubt, the distraction, the thousand reasons not to start. Pressfield says you fight resistance by showing up every day, regardless of how you feel. And I respect that deeply. That is dedication. But I want to offer you something else. Resistance loses most of its power when you heal. When you've done the inner work. When you know your why. When you are so aligned with what you're creating that fear becomes smaller than your devotion. I still feel resistance. I still have days when it is hard to begin. But I face it differently now. I face it with humor. I face it with heart. I face it with inspiration. I face it with the knowledge that not everything is on the line, that I can do this for the joy of it, that I can show up imperfectly and it will still matter. You meet the resistance with healing, and healing makes you braver than discipline ever could. I want to tell you about the most underrated book I have ever read. It is called Teamworks, and it was written by Barbara Sher. Barbara Sher invented success teams in 1972. Small groups of people who come together with one single purpose: to help every person on the team get what they want. Not what they should want, not what looks good, what they actually want. And what she discovered: productivity happens more readily when people have someone they are accountable to, when they share their outcome with someone who is on their side. Not someone who criticizes, not someone who doubts, someone who believes in them completely. But the most beautiful thing Barbara Sher ever said, and it has stayed with me like a tattoo on my heart, is this: pleasure is a telegram from talent. What you love to do is a message from your soul, and those things that bring you pleasure, those are the things you should be building your life around. I don't use the word goals anymore, by the way. I use the word outcomes, because a goal feels like something outside of you. An outcome feels like something that flows from inside you. There is a difference, and that difference matters. Don't do it alone. Find your people. Follow your pleasure. It is a telegram from talent. It is your soul pointing you home. If I had to tell you to read just one book right now, one book that will change the way you approach everything, it is Choose Your Story, Change Your Life by Kendra Hall. Because before any system, before any tool, before any book can work, you have to know your why, and you have to make sure your outcomes align with that why. That alignment is everything. That alignment is what was missing for me. Kendra Hall says that the stories you tell yourself create the life you live. And she is right. I was telling myself a story that life is hard, that productivity is painful, that I was not built for this. When I changed the story, when I chose a new story, one where I am devoted to my calling, one where I am a gift from God or the universe or source with something to give, one where inspired action flows naturally from a healed heart, everything shifted. Ali Abdaal talks about alignment in feel-good productivity. He says that when what you do aligns with who you are, with your values, your identity, your why, productivity stops feeling like an effort and starts feeling like expression. That is the word I want to leave you with. Expression. Not discipline, expression. You get to choose your story. You get to write it. And your why journaling guide is the perfect place to start rewriting it, one honest question at a time. Grab it free in the description below. Here is what I want you to do tonight, not someday, tonight. Sit down and journal. Ask yourself, why do I want to be productive? Why do I have these outcomes? What will they give me, not just on the outside, but on the inside? What are my most productive, important values? What is the way I truly want to live my life? Figure out your why, because when you know your why, the what and the how will show up. But first you have to make sure you are aligned, that you are not chasing someone else's dream, that you are not following someone else's story, that what you are building is truly, deeply yours. Write your story, script your story, imagine your happy ending, the real one, the one that lives in your heart. Work backwards from that. Make sure it aligns with what you truly want, and then, only then, take your inspired action. And here's my question for you. Leave your answer in the comments below. Which productivity book changed your life? Or what is the one thing that has been blocking you from the work you know you're meant to do? I read every productivity book and I love them, and none of them worked until I healed, until I stopped punishing myself with discipline and started calling myself back with devotion, until I gave myself permission to do it badly, until I found my people, until I chose my story. Life is not hard. Life is meant to be inspired. Life is meant to be joyous. Life is meant to be lived with love and creativity and humor and heart. And when you come to your work from that place, nothing can stop you. You are a gift from God, Source, the universe, every single one of you. You have something inside you that the world is waiting for. And inspired action, real inspired action from a healed heart, is how it finally comes through. I choose my story. I choose my path. I choose my life and the way it's going to go. And so can you, starting tonight. If this video touched something in you, give it a like and subscribe to this channel. Every week I share honest conversations about healing your heart so your gifts can finally come through. And my free Why journaling guide is linked in the description below. Go get it. Now that you know what was actually blocking your productivity, you might be wondering how to start processing all of that and taking your first real inspired step. It starts by watching this video next, because when you pair what you just learned with what's inside this journaling video, it becomes so much more powerful.